Welcome back. It's Dave from Kingsman PSC. We're a private security consulting company, and we also teach firearm classes. So we teach the Michigan CPL class along with other firearms classes. They're all posted on the website. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the concealed carry class, right? The CPL class. And CPL stands for your concealed pistol license. All right, that's what the CPL stands for. But I want to speak more to those who are, you've been thinking about it for a while, you're just unsure, or maybe you just started considering, gun ownership or to conceal carry, right? As an instructor, we get a lot of phone calls, or I do anyways, and I know some of the other instructors that I know, they get phone calls to people asking questions all the time, and, we love that, right? But there's a lot of times we see an uncertainty in people, and so I want to make this video just to be a general idea and give some information on what you can expect from the CPL class, and just the good to knows. What's good to know before I sign up for this class, right? So you're the person who's never held a gun before. You have zero firearm experience whatsoever. You have none. Okay, this class is perfect for you, right? Because that's why this class was designed. That was the intent of this class, is to give people who had no experience a baseline, a basic and fundamental approach to shooting pistols. Okay, it was designed for people that have no experience. Now, does that mean that it's not good for people who have experience? It is, because they'll be able to learn different skill sets that they can either build on or that they haven't learned before. Some people, they've shot their whole lives. They don't know much about home defense. Okay, they can tell you what the basics and fundamentals of pistol shooting are, but they don't know much about the way or in the way of home protection or home defense. And, sometimes they don't even know the laws. And so this class, that's what it covers, is all the basics and fundamentals of pistol shooting. And then we talk about some elements of protection where we're talking about mindset and situational awareness, right? So I don't want you to get too overwhelmed or too nervous about taking a class, because it's really just a basic class. Okay, it's really designed to give you a strong foundation in the basics and fundamentals of pistol shooting if you've not had any experience with guns. All right. Now, again, I mentioned in the class there's some other elements like mindset and situational awareness, and some of the other things you'll learn in the class are the laws. You'll learn about some of the firearm laws. How to transport your gun without a CPL, what your limitations are with the CPL. You'll learn the CPL laws. You'll learn about Michigan's Castle Doctrine, which primarily is for home defense, and then you'll learn the stand your ground laws. You'll also learn about home defense. Like I said, this is primarily a home defense course. And so it's a really good avenue with a mixture of a lot of things in it for people to start considering as they grow. So the class is also designed to be a building block. All right. You build upon the basic knowledge that you achieve in this class. You build upon that as you start your journey with firearms. Whether it's to, protect your home or carry out in public, you're always going to have some kind of standard in the way of training. At least you should if you're going to carry a gun or simply just own a gun, right? The biggest element that I think is key, I think it's the core of these classes, is firearm safety. You won't get away from any class with any instructor of any kind that is not going to be big on firearm safety. Okay, and a lot of times people get this impression that firearm safety is just while you're out on the range. You practice it out on the range, or you practice it while you have your gun out at home or where you store it at home. It's deeper than that. You're going to be carrying a gun on you. Some of you will. Not everybody, but some. But no matter what, whatever that environment you're in, firearm safety is the first thing you practice. Okay, it's not just a range thing. And so that's going to be like the core throughout the whole entire course. That's what it's centered around. And so you can expect to learn firearm safety. What are some other things you'll learn? You're going to learn how the gun operates. You'll learn how to load the magazines. You'll learn how to unload the magazines, how to load them, how to load your gun. You'll learn what the sights are for and how to use them. You'll learn about the actions of the gun, trigger control, and how to pull the trigger. You're going to learn about gripping and standing and how do we hold the gun and stand properly. Okay, how do we have a solid base? Those are the basics and the fundamentals of pistol shooting. So you're gonna get right in on those. Okay, now how do we do this in the class? Like, I don't know how a lot of instructors teach their courses. Some of my buddies that are instructors, we share ideas on different things because we've all had different experiences. But I can't speak for them and how they run their class or any other instructor. But I will tell you how I run my classes. So when you sign up for a concealed pistols class, a concealed carry class with us, um, I'm a very laid back guy during the classroom portion. Okay, I like people to feel comfortable and relaxed when they're in the environment, right? I want them to feel safe in the environment, and I want them to have an open mind. Okay, I don't want anything restricting their abilities to learn. So I always start off with, talking to people and asking them questions and greeting them and just trying my best to make them feel comfortable where they're at and letting them know it's going to be okay. And then we move into things. I've heard a lot of horror stories about, you know, PowerPoint presentations gone south. I've heard about guys that read word from word. Um, I, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I know the curriculum, um, and so I don't do any of that. I just kind of get right into the teaching. There is a standard that we have to teach. I add 2 hours just because I don't want a boring class, and I like to get people talking. I like to get people moving. I like people to see what it's really like. And so I do some exercises. I give proper explanation of things, and we talk about them. And I like to get people involved in those discussions. Okay. At the same time, like the expectation for me to the student or the student to me is I want them to ask me questions as well because I like that. I like to get them thinking so that they have a question to ask. Um, in the way of protection, not just about guns. I'm a protector, and so I like people to ask questions about just protection in general. So I got a pretty good flow of how the class goes. We start off by talking and asking questions. We get into some examples, and we kind of just mix it up throughout the day, right? And the other reason I do that is because everyone learns differently. Okay, some people learn by hearing, some people learn by doing, some people learn by seeing. And so we kind of incorporate all three of those so that we can all pick up on the same learning styles. And then eventually I like to get to the point where the students can share their stories or their questions or something with someone else in the class, and they can, kind of get to know people within the class so it doesn't seem like, they're so scared of people. All right. And so that is how I run my class. It's very laid back when we're in the classroom. Now, when we get on the range, it's a more serious deal because now we're working with live ammunition and live guns. In the class, though, I like to put airsoft pistols in the hands of people so we can practice what we've learned before we get out on the range, and that typically helps kind of calm down the nervousness of first-time shooters. Now, for people who have shot for a while, they don't have a problem with this, and so they can get right out on the range. They're not nervous. They do what they're trained to do, right? But for the new shooters, that's not always the case, and so we have to kind of break the ice, so to speak, to kind of prepare them for going out to a live fire range. So we want to give them some hands-on in a safe manner before we go out to the range. Then, when we go to the range, we go over some of the same things again. We show them how to hold it again. We follow them closely. We watch them closely, and we participate with them. Okay. and we make sure that they're comfortable in firing the shot. Now, some people, they're just going to remain nervous, but we still have to work with them in that nervousness, and so that is what we do. And how we run the line is we like to put the newer shooters together closer to the instructors in smaller groups. Okay, so I don't want to put like two people that have never shot before. I don't want to put them on the same line with people who have shot their entire life and they're hitting bullseyes left and right and firing the clip off quick, right? It's not a competition out there, but we still want to space things out evenly to give people the best experience that we possibly can per instructor. All right. So that is how we run our classes. Now, some things that are also good to know is that the class is 8 hours long. Okay. Expect to be there for 8 hours. There are variables and things like that, but for the most part, expect to be there for the day that you plan to be there. Um, I think that's pretty fair. You definitely don't want to have to leave the class because you have other engagements that you didn't know how long the class was going to last. Just expect 8 hours. Uh, some other things that are good to know is that here's a good example, I guess, is do you need a gun? It's good to know that you don't have to go out and buy a gun. And now with the way Michigan's laws are, it's kind of made it a little bit more difficult or lengthy, I guess you could say. The process is kind of tedious with the way Michigan's law is now. But do you have to go buy a gun for the class? No, you don't. There are many instructors out there that'll rent firearms. There's many that'll just let you use them. They don't really care. I was pretty fortunate before I bought guns and got into guns and things like that years and years and years ago. My instructor, he just had them for everyone to use. And so I kind of copied that. I've already purchased it. It's already mine. It belongs to me. I'm already transporting it. Um, it's already at the class and ready for you to use. So we just let you use them. We don't charge you to use our guns. You just have to pay for the ammo, and whatever we buy it for, you pay the same price. Okay, that's how we do it. So you don't necessarily have to own a gun to take a class. So you could always find an instructor that has guns that you can use to take the class with. For us, what we found before they changed the law, what we found this to be beneficial to other students because some students simply didn't know how to go buy a gun. They were like, well, what should I buy? The caliber, and should I buy something that's, full size, or am I going with subcompact? Like, do I go with this brand or that brand? And we go over all that in the class. Okay. So what we find is we save them time and money when they're going to select a gun. Now they know exactly what they're going there for, as far as the size of the frame, the caliber type, because when you use our guns, you're not limited to just one gun. You can shoot multiple calibers and multiple sizes. Okay, and so it gives them a better feel of what they like and what they really want to shoot. All right, so it saves them time and money. Um, it also saves them anxiety and stress and just being pissed off, because we've seen this, and I think just about any instructor out there has seen this. If you have any experience and you've been doing this for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But somewhere along the way, some other person will give the new gun owner the advice on what they should buy. And here's typically what happens. There's one of two things that we see a lot of. One is they buy a complete piece of garbage. Okay, it's just a over expensive paperweight. Okay, they bought this gun because their friend told them this was the budget gun to buy, and they find out that gun's a piece of crap, and now they're pissed because their gun is nothing but a consistent failure. All right, the other thing that happens that we see a lot of is someone else recommended a gun, and now they can't shoot that gun because it's, for one, not comfortable in their hand, two, they're having a problem getting to the trigger and then squeezing the trigger. It's just such a short frame or a small frame, or the gun's just too big for their hands. And then they're like, well, this is what I was told to buy. And they're like, we have to be the bad guys and tell them, hey, well, whoever told you that was wrong. And a lot of times it's a family member, and they're like, oh, you're saying my dad is wrong, so now we have a problem. It's typically never ended up in a problem, but they do get a little bit salty at their family members because now they've just spent $600, $700 on a gun they can't shoot. And so we really encourage people, um, if you have not bought a gun yet, don't worry about it. Just come to the class and use one of ours. They're free to use. You just have to pay for the ammo that you shoot. That's it. Um, and now with the laws the way they are, now you can, if you have a CPL, you can bypass some of the tedious stuff that they're doing now to make the purchase of a gun. All right, so you don't have to do like the pistol permits and all that. You can just take your CPL and go buy a gun, right? So it's a lot easier, it's a lot more effective, and that's good for you to know. And it's also good because not all shooters or not all people that come to the class are even 100% sold on their gun ownership. Some people that have never shot before, this is all new to them. They just want to try it out to see if it is for them. Okay? And so it's very important that you don't go spend time on and money on a gun when you don't even know if it's for you. All right? So that's good to know that there are places out there that are willing to help out like that. All right. Uh, I think that pretty much sums up what I wanted to put out there. I just wanted to be real brief in general and give you a basic idea of what you can expect in the class. Um, there's a lot of good instructors around. There's a lot of good outfits out there. One other thing that I would suggest is just check out multiple people. Don't just set your mind on one person, unless you've talked to family and stuff like that that have taken that person's class and their reputation is good. But take some time if you don't know who to go to or where to go, and you don't know anyone that's taken the class. You know, surf around online a little bit, learn a little bit about the company. Our website, kingsmanpsc.com. We certainly have a lot of information to go through on the page as far as shooting distance, backgrounds, just different things. Check out people's reviews and just know that most instructors have a good intention and are good instructors. There's lots of places that you can go to. Um, Maybe we'll see you at one of our classes. God bless. Have a good night.